Gold has been on a tear for absolute years, since 2018, when it found a double bottom in 2016. Even if you bought in 2016 or 2015 and you've been holding gold for a very long time, it has been on an absolute tear. I remember one of my friends in COVID, he was a Sikh guy. He told me, I'm buying these gold bracelets. These are going to go up over time. To be fair, I didn't listen to him until a bit later, and then I did profit off the situation with silver and gold. However, with gold, wow, wow, wow. Don't get me wrong, the possibility and the reason for it pumping is firstly due to the gold and silver and precious metals bull market, which we are noticing. Also, gold and silver are a hedge against inflation. And because the US government tend to print money, what tends to happen is commodities, which includes gold, silver, oil, copper, platinum, palladium, even food such as cocoa, wheat, things like this tend to go up over time because the US dollar tends to go down over time because they print money. Now, people like to store their money, their hard-earned cash, which they deem as invaluable, into real hard assets like real estate, gold, silver. Now, the problem I'm seeing with gold is, and although it is ripping hard and they may use it as currency in the future, the one thing that I do know right now, the major currency of the world is the US dollar. And with gold being overbought on the monthly, the weekly, and also the daily, very overbought, the money might trickle into something else, such as the likes of, for example, Bitcoin. Maybe not, we don't know, but it's expected that we do see an all-time high with Bitcoin, and that's why I did sell all of my silver, because I do expect a pullback. Don't get me wrong, it might push a lot further, but I just believe at least a consolidation is coming. And I also believe a brutal bear market is going to come. Not now, maybe later in 2026, even early 2026, if you're being very pessimistic. I think the rest of this year will be bullish because they have mentioned 2 further rate cuts. Jerome Powell actually mentioned that yesterday. He mentioned 2 further rate cuts and quantitative easing being a possibility, with less likely of quantitative tightening, which is very good for gold, precious metals, and the bull market that occurs there, with crypto, stocks, and real estate as well. Because if they're going to print more money to pay the US debt back, then gold and silver is going to go up. I'm just telling you to be a little bit cautious. Maybe trim a little bit of profits. Maybe have a stop loss there, because that can be very helpful, especially if we see a dark market turn down like we did see with crypto. For example, if I show you one crypto here, and I know gold isn't anything like crypto, but certain cryptos literally went down to 1 cent. It's not showing it on this exchange, but if you go to Qcoin, certain cryptos can go down to less than a cent. And these are cryptos I believe in. So imagine the ones I don't believe in that go down 99%. Just keep yourself safe. Be ready. A little bit of profit taking maybe on the table. Because although gold can run to, in my opinion, 20k plus, I don't think it can happen in one day. I believe it needs to correct. I believe it needs to cool down, especially after this major consolidation that we saw, and it's just pumped like crazy. It hasn't given any pullbacks. Nobody has been given a chance to enter again. I just think you have to be a little bit more cautious. And to be honest, once gold and silver hopefully do pull back, and I do see that consolidation, maybe even to around $48, hopefully worse, I want to see a 30% pullback. I don't know if that is on the table. Ethereum did have a 30% pullback, but at $36 I would be eating up silver. That's just me though, that's my personal opinion. Now, 4,200 gold isn't an investment decision, it's a currency crisis warning. Central banks don't rush to gold because they'll think it'll go up. They rush to gold because they know their currency is going down. And if central banks are scared, you should be terrified. And I agree, if gold is going up at this pace, that means major buyers are buying gold. But what I've tended to realize is the major buyers don't always get things right. And the US dollar may be getting smoked right now. They do label it as the DXY because they factor in for other currencies. It may be getting smoked right now, but I believe we will see, after all these interest rates and everything like that is over, after Jerome Powell has pumped a lot of money into the system, it's not him, I know, but the Federal Reserve print loads of money, eventually they're going to go back to a point where they stop printing money and are more restrictive. And when that happens, the US dollar will go up and asset prices will go down. Because if this is going up, that's very bad for risk assets. So just have that in mind. Everybody thinks there's a crisis. Everybody thinks gold's a good decision. Everybody thinks Bitcoin's a good decision. And it always is until it isn't. And I do believe we're going to see a major market crash. Maybe like we've never seen before. Because this bull run was like we've never seen before. So what do you think is going to happen if we ever potentially get a brutal bear market? Don't you see what happened here? Is this not a possibility? Is this not even 1% chance, less than 1% chance? You have to keep your ideas open. Don't get me wrong, I'll probably be buying Bitcoin very soon. I'm just waiting patiently. I don't want to go all in. I've already profited of the situation. I just don't want to be idiotic and emotional when I need to be stable and ready. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because if we are going to get a brutal bear market, maybe in a year or two, maybe even 3 years, maybe you have to wait a long time, eventually what goes up must come down. And the only thing that I don't think will come down is probably gold, because they're going to carry on printing money. But eventually we should see, hopefully, a major pullback. But you can't rely on it, like I say, because if we are indeed in a crisis, we might just go up indefinitely.